All right.
Welcome to Wine Wanderings. Today, I'm thrilled to be featuring Janis Miglavs, and we're going to talk about visual wine journeys. Well, welcome, Janis. I'd like to give our readers a little background on you.
Well, thank you very much, Tricia. It's a real pleasure to be here, and it's really nice to meet you again after a long separation, or not seeing you for a long time.
I know it's been a while. We met each other at the Wine Writers Symposium in Napa Valley, and you were one of the most interesting people I met there, I believe. But anyway, I want to give everyone a background on you. So you came to the US as a boy from communist invaded Latvia, became a US citizen, graduated with a BA from the University of California at Berkeley, earned a Master of Fine Arts at California State University, and became a high school art and photography teacher and a professional photographer, finally settling in after you got married on professional photography. But then you stumbled into wine. And soon you were photographing vineyards around your rural home in Oregon. And I understand you called Chronicle Books to suggest a book on Oregon vineyards. And they said yes, but suggested you also include Washington and the Okanagan Valley in British Columbia too. And I understand while you were doing that book, you actually knew the difference between red and white wines by then. That's great. But fast forward to now, you won the Wine Spectator Magazine Gold Award for the best regional book in North America. And I know you didn't pay him to say this, but they said it was one of the best reads for wine lovers, and it's in its second printing. So how wonderful is that? And I know you and I talked about the fact that you've also done features for Wine Spectator and Wine Enthusiast and the Sommelier Journal. But what was so struck me the last time we talked was that you were hired by a Chinese publisher to do a book on wine in the land of the dragon. And after traveling through the country and learning all those Chinese vineyard terms, which that must have been fun, you wrote and photographed a book called China, the New Wine Frontier. Wow, success. The government subsidized the writing of this book, and then they flew you first class to Beijing to receive the Best in the World Book Award. Not bad for a guy from Oregon. And I have one of your photographs framed in my foyer of my home. It's the Screaming Eagles Vineyard, and it's beautiful. So I love your photographs. So, Janis, when did you start photographing vineyards, and where did you start?
We moved to a country home in northern Willamette Valley, and our neighbor just across our gravel road had a vineyard, and we were surrounded with vineyards. And I'd go riding my bicycle, through the countryside, and there were all these vineyards. And so I thought, oh, I need to start taking some photographs because they're beautiful landscapes. And so that's how it started.
That's how it got started.
I also
very
was
few places that are as beautiful as a vineyard.
Yeah. I was doing work, for National Geographic and stuff, and so I had some creds. And when I called Chronicle, I said, "Hey, yeah, let's do a book on Oregon," and they said, "Yeah."
Yeah, well, creds from National Geographic are pretty good creds. So, of all the places you visited, can you share your most unusual vineyard location and situation?
I think there's probably two that come to mind, and one is more of an like wine has been an adventure, and in China it was interesting to learn how the Chinese drink wine, and they call it gambei, and we call it bottoms up, and so I had to learn Chinese for as the pourer pours. I had to learn how to say yi dian dian, yi dian dian, just a little bit. And as the evening wears off and you're drinking, like 10 or 12 glasses, I mean, that's quite a bit. And I remember one time I had to carry out the head winemaker of a major winery. And then, oh gosh, lots of other adventures. In Ethiopia, I was actually photographing some tribal things, but on the way out, I wanted to stop by a vineyard. And so we snuck in, but they stopped us when we were leaving, and we were detained in this vineyard for trespassing. And it was interesting talking our way out of that one. Just lots of adventures. I have a Chinese driver's license, but I can't read most of the signs on the highway. You know, so that's an adventure, just driving around through China.
It's we could probably go on for hours on some of these adventures, but so tell me about the book award. You won it in China. How was that experience?
It was interesting. It's like doing the book in China it was kind of a torturous, actually a torturous experience. Like we had lots of battles, and it's a huge book. It's a big tabletop book, and it weighs, I can't remember, like 2.5 kilos or something like that, like 5 pounds. I can't remember how many pages were in there, but we had lots of battles. But when it was finally done, it was great because like it was gourmand. It's a French culinary outfit, called it the best wine book in the world. And I thought, well, that's not too bad. And then, you know, like the publisher thought that was a big deal, and the Chinese government thought, well, that's a pretty big deal too. And so they paid my way over there.
And was there a big ceremony that was associated with it?
Oh, there was actually a huge, it was a food writers kind of a convention, and the wine was a sideline. As I recall, I think my book was the only wine book that came up. And so my book actually, it won in the wine category, the best in the world.
That's fabulous. Congratulations on that too. Speaking of wine, why don't we? What is your favorite wine?
You know, people ask me that all the time, and I have to say it's any wine that'll give me an adventure. Like I've been fortunate to have tasted wine from all around the world, and like obviously here in Oregon, we're well known for the Pinot, so I've tasted Pinot from all around the world, especially against the Carneros, the famous Carneros where I grew up, the famous Carneros Pinots. And I have to say that the Oregon wines are have much more finesse and much more elegant. I like the feminineness of the Oregon Pinots.
Yes, they say they're the most like Burgundy, like a perfect red Burgundy.
Yes, I would say actually there's quite a bit of difference between Burgundy, but yes, it has that same kind of finesse and that lightness to it, and the color too.
I actually prefer Oregon Pinots to Burgundies, but that's
Is
just
that
me.
right?
That's
Yeah.
just me. So I have this beautiful picture of the Screaming Eagles vineyard in my foyer that I got through you. And so how could our readers get a vineyard copy from you?
Probably the best way to do that is just to go to my website, and that's www.j, the letter J, and then my last name, Miglavs, MIGLAVS.com. And if you Google my name, I'm the only Janis Miglavs in the world. So you will have no troubles finding my website.
Well, I'm going to recommend that everybody do that. Hey, Janis, thanks so much. Good to see you. And thanks for being on Wine Wanderings.